All right. Now, the third thing I can't stop thinking about, and I'm not a comic book nerd, so please go easy on me here. But at the end, when Bill, played by David Carradine, shoots Uma Thurman with a truth serum dart, and she's sitting there waiting for it to take effect, he talks about some sort of gives some sort of an analogy because he's trying to convince her that she's a killer and she walked away from her true self, right? Trying to be this mom and this other thing, but she's an assassin. That's the point he's trying to make. That you're like me. I'm a killer. You're a killer. And the analogy is this basically. A lot of superheroes, like let's take Batman for example. They're Bruce Wayne, and then they become Batman and they go fight crime. They put on a suit. He also gives the Spider-Man analogy, which I don't know if it works because wasn't Peter Parker bit by a spider and then it had some sort of weird, like he doesn't lose his powers when he doesn't have the suit on, right? He could be Peter Parker flying around, couldn't he? I don't think, if I misunderstood that, I'm sorry, but I think that part didn't work. But it doesn't matter. His point is that superheroes sometimes become superheroes, whereas Superman, as he puts it, is Superman, and Clark Kent is the alter ego. He flips it. No, he wakes up with the Superman outfit on. He is Superman. Clark Kent is the alter ego. He puts on the Clark Kent outfit to blend into humanity. And one of his points was that, I think, was that the reason Clark Kent is so timid and shy and weak and lacks courage is because that's how he sees humanity, right? He wants to blend in. He doesn't want to be discovered as some powerful, superhero. He wants to blend in so nobody suspects it. So he has to emulate what he sees around him. What he thinks of humanity is just this weak, cowardly group of nothings. But while I think it's interesting to think about the idea that Superman is the person and Clark Kent is the alter ego, which as I understand it, was around 1986 when things shifted. Nerds, can you help me out here? It's like it used to be that Superman was the person and Clark Kent was the alter ego, but somewhere around 1986 in the comic book world, somebody flipped it, and it's been like a battle and a crisis and a hot debate since then. And maybe that speaks to what I'm about to say, which is it does blow my mind because I hadn't thought about it before. So I must be a post 1986 Superman fan because I never thought of Clark Kent being the costume. And to be honest with you, for a couple of days, it really baked my noodle. Like I had to think about this. I thought it was brilliant as I'm hearing it. I'm thinking like, oh my God, I never thought about this before. But the more I researched it and the more I thought about it, the more I realized that he's really a scumbag who's talking about himself. Bill, not Superman. He's trying to pull Superman into his bullshit, basically. But if you don't respect humanity, why would you give a shit to save it? Do you know what I mean? And to me, that's where it kind of falls apart. Like, maybe he's trying to blend in and he's trying to make himself look like a normal person who's timid and shy and weak and doesn't have the courage or the cojones. But then why would he even bother going through all of that if he didn't think that humans were like some sort of valuable creature, like they weren't worth saving? What's the point of that? And I think this is going to change over time. But right now, my thinking is that Bill's just talking about himself, right? He's a killer who's trying to find some sort of narcissistic explanation for why he is and why it's okay how he is. And he drags Superman and others into this conversation when he doesn't probably really understand what they are or why they do it. Like I wouldn't expect Kill Bill, to understand the greatness or the story of Superman as is. People like him are like someone who's so offended that a woman left them that they're going to go to their wedding. Think about how fucking sick this is, that you go to their wedding and kill everyone in the wedding party and then rip the baby out of the bride. I mean, you want to talk about weak? That's weak. So he's just trying to massage his ego and pull her into that world and say, yeah, you know what I'm saying. We're killers. We're the same, you and me. And it's like, no. You don't try to pull Superman and Beatrix all into this bullshit. You're just talking about yourself. I still have to think about this because I will admit that I do find his little theory interesting, or just theory, or just the way he thinks about it interesting. But no, miss me after a couple of days of thinking about it. Swing and a miss for me, because he's not. I think it's less about. It doesn't matter that he's using Superman as an analogy. Like, it's about him. It doesn't matter if he's talking about muffins or whatever. Anybody else. It's about Bill. He's an egomaniac. Anybody who think about that. How insecure and weak do you have to be to not accept someone breaking up with you? That's step one. And way down the line, somewhere in the further steps, is to show up and kill them and their wedding party. I mean, it's unthinkable, really. It's what drives the whole movie. Of course you're pulling for, because it's just so horrific what happens.